Well, let's finish up our Chapter 3 discussion, and I wanted to start by looking at the Chapter 3 review problem, and you'll find it on page 102 and 103. It's kind of the starting point for it in your book, 102 and 103. And you can see here what they've given you is several journal entries and all kinds of entries for a business for the month of January for Svensson Service Company. And that's one page of them. Here's the other page of the entries right there. And then even some more right there. 3 pages here. It's 2 pages in your book. And then what you should do then is look at those journal entries, and what they want you to do is prepare a trial or T accounts and post from the journal to the ledger to T accounts. And here are the T accounts right here. So what you might want to do is set this up just on pencil and paper just to see how well you do. And you can see the answer on your screen. The answer is in your book. It's just right on page 104. But it might not be a bad idea just to set up these T accounts in pencil and paper and post from the journal to the ledger just to get yourself used to doing that, and then subtotal the accounts and come back then and check and see did you get the right balances. And once you've done that, the next thing that you can do is to then prepare your trial balance. And remember, a trial balance is a list of all of our accounts with their respective debit or credit balances, and then the key is that debits must equal credits. Okay, so both sides must balance. And that's what you see in the next screen right there. Okay, so you might want to think about just trying that on your own just to kind of reinforce some of the concepts and make sure that you understand the material. Now, a couple of things I just wanted to finish up with regarding Chapter 3 is it's really important that you read the chapter, of course. We all know that. But the other thing that you should be sure to do is, again, go through some of the example problems that are in the chapter. And you might just want to go through them a couple of times. That will reinforce the journals. That'll reinforce how every transaction affects the accounting equation, because they'll show you with the sample problems, sample transactions, the debits and credits, how that transaction affects the accounting equation, and so on. So they really start out doing that on page 81. They just keep giving you different kinds of examples throughout the chapter. And I'm just flipping through the book right now, and they pretty much end up right on page 88. Okay, so 81 to 88 are all of the examples that they give us in the book. I would definitely spend the time just to go through those, read those more than once, make sure that you understand them. Okay, and then the other thing that I'd like you to take a look at is on page 94. You'll see a chart of accounts right there. And we really didn't have a slide for the chart of accounts. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of what that is and what the purpose of it is. And the chart of accounts is basically all the accounts that could be used by a company in its accounting system, organized by the accounting equation: assets, then liabilities, then equity, then revenue, then expenses. And notice that there is a pattern to the numbering as you look at that on page 94. The assets start with a 1, liabilities with a 2, equity with a 3, revenue with a 4, and expenses with a 5. Okay, so those are just a couple of things I wanted to make sure that I discussed with you before we're done with the chapter. Then finally, one other thing I want to show you, I'm going to go back to the LMS, and this is just the, let me just click on the main page so you know where we started out here. Just make sure we're on the main page. Here's our main page of our LMS. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit, and I want you to pay attention to some files that are here to help you. The rules of debit and credit tutorial, the accounting equation tutorial, accounting terminology overview, and the quick ref. I'll just open up one of these as an example. It'll just take a moment for it to load. It's a very large PDF file. Okay, here it is right here. And what this is, I'm going to maximize it on my screen. And what this is just something you can go through multiple times and read through it. and it will show you just kind of the key information about the rules of debit and credit, for example. You can just go through each page, read through it, click on the next. And doing that multiple times will reinforce the concepts of the rules of debit and credit for you. Okay, so it's just kind of one of those things, you go through it. Each page doesn't have that much information on it, but you can see just the process or thinking about going through it is you just kind of read the statements and think about what the answer should be that will help you learn the material. Okay, let me go back to the LMS. So you kind of get the same thing with the accounting equation right here. This accounting terminology over review. Let me pull that one up. And I'm going to maximize this one. Is just terminology that you will use throughout the class. Information about the financial statements, some ratios. Well, those are going to be coming up in the future. So a lot, some of this we're just starting on right now. A lot of this will hit throughout the class. We've got plenty of time left in the class. We're going to go through 12 chapters. So some of this will look familiar. Some of it will not yet because we haven't covered it. But I just want you to know it's kind of a one-stop shop when it comes to terminology and concepts that you'll be learning throughout the class. So I just want you to be aware of that. And finally, the quick reference sheet. Let me get that one open for us also. Here we go. Okay. And this also is just a good summary of some of the terminology that you will need in class. So it might be hard to read on the video here, but just open it up, take a look at what's here. And basically the way to think about it is if as you read through this and you go, I know what all these things mean, that means you're in really good shape. Okay, that means you know the material and you're doing well so far. Okay, so just kind of a guide to help you understand what you should know. There's really no explanations here. It's really more a matter of if you can read through this and go, I understand what this is telling me, that should tell you that you're learning the material. So it's just kind of there as a reference guide to help you gauge your understanding of the material. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it off for Chapter 3. We'll do a WebEx about this topic also.